Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast coming at you live every Friday, 5 Alive. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Welcome, everybody. I am, as always, your host, Chris. Welcome, welcome. This is episode number 253, where we're in June. We're getting all up in June, which means next month is July, which means it's the 5-year anniversary of the show. Still going strong. And still got a lot of great things planned for you guys, and I'm excited for what the show has in store for y'all. Unfortunately, it's all locked up in my brain, so I can't really get it out there yet, but you'll know when you hear it. As always, if you want to keep up with me, you can do that on my Twitter and Instagram, both at Casting for Two, as well as the other podcast I do, Ramble Jam, with Josh Silverman from Constantly Calibrating. That's every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern on mixer.com/concalpod. That's it. So I got to talk about my guest. My guest today is a wonderful actor and entrepreneur. I don't know if I'm saying that entrepreneur. Okay, I'll figure it out. Anyway, it's the wonderful Zack Ward. Zack Ward has, you might know him from the bully from a little movie called The Christmas Story, A Christmas Story. He's been in a ton of other things after that, as well as starting up his own businesses, one of which we talk about today, where he takes sports teams and turns them into stock that everyone can own and participate in. And it's a fascinating concept, and I'm so intrigued by it. But you know what? I want you guys to listen to the show. We got to get into this. So everybody sit back, relax, and Chris, cue the music, please.
Skype on my laptop, and I guess depending upon who and how I respond to the text that you sent me or friend request is where the phone call goes to automatically.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that weird?
That's a bit odd.
Because I'm looking at Skype on my phone, and you didn't come in over my phone. Anyways, this is a conversation that doesn't matter. Wow. Yeah, I now sound like somebody's grandma.
It's. In audio world, I understand, because sometimes people are really loud, really quiet. I've recorded conversations that I could barely hear the person, and it didn't turn out so well. So, but
right.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand how. Yeah.
And so, how is your day? How's your day going? And first of all, I'm very also interested in sleep patterns. So how much sleep are you getting?
Last night was pretty good, actually. I got into a chiropractor yesterday and gotten really adjusted, and then took a bunch of magnesium, and it put me out like a light. So I literally went to bed like 11 o'clock at night, woke up at 8, went back to sleep. Needed it. So
nice. Yeah, I could use a good realignment. That sounds real nice.
Yeah, she did a great job. It hurt like hell, but it helped.
But I'm excited to chat with you today for many reasons. Obviously, Christmas Story is a huge part of my childhood. Also, every Christmas, of course.
Right.
But what I'm more I want to find out we're the acting side, and then we can, transition to the business side. Sound good?
Okay, sounds great.
So, first off, I keep saying first off. Second off, when did you know acting was going to be something you wanted to pursue?
So, my mother's an actress, and my childhood was spent backstage at theaters or on film sets or traveling from city to city as she acquired work. So I literally went from I did 8 different schools before junior high. So it was a lot. And we were living in Stratford, Ontario, which has the sister theater to Stratford on the Avon. And the Stratford Festival is the Shakespearean festival named after Shakespeare.
Yeah,
for those people who don't have any experience with that.
Yeah.
So my mom was in the festival playing Lady Capulet in a bunch of different roles, and she would explain to me what the words meant, because thespian language is somewhat confusing. So my mom would explain it to me so I could enjoy the plays. And there was a character in Taming of the Shrew that I was very excited to see because he said some naughty, funny things. And I was 8 years old, and the idea of saying the word "but" was hilarious to me.
Right.
So this guy comes out and he does his performance, and the audience's response is numb. And I sat there so disappointed, looking at the faces of the audience, and I thought to myself, I could do better than this guy. That literally was the moment that I was like, yeah, I would have done that better.
Yeah.
I would have done that better. So then I asked my mom if I could get into it, and she said yes. And so when we got back to Toronto from living in Stratford, it took about a year and before I got my first commercial. And that was for Dolly Madison. No, it's for Jell-O.
Okay.
It's for Jell-O, and the commercial is still on YouTube to this day. So have fun posting that with the podcast, because it is. I'm like 10 years old, eating a pyramid of Jell-O. I've got a little bow tie on. I'm at a family dinner, and it's like, did you make dessert? No, Grandpa. I made fun. Oh. And it goes to, I don't know. It was like, watch it shimmer, Jell-O, gelatin, and have some, like, how they always have the stupid jingle for their product. And there's little Zach, who's all cute, tiny nose and everything, and going to try and bite a pyramid of Jell-O, and it falls down, and he makes the Gee Willikers face and puts his hand on his fist and goes, Yeah. Obviously just beaming with raw talent.
Right.
That's when Spielberg called me immediately after that. It was like, I must have you.
Three picture deal.
That 3-picture deal.
You and Jell-O.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we're going to be doing Goonies 15. I want you in it.
Yeah.
Your magic.
Is it weird to, now that, you're an adult, but like you said, a lot of your stuff is still out there, whether on YouTube or, movies. Is it weird to have that sort of thing where people could just look you up as a child actor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it's weird for me because I'm 48, and most 48-year-old men don't have that history as public. But in the eyes of the modern populace, who are surrounded by cameras from birth, I don't think they find it any way uncommon. So I think I was ahead of the curve, but I think I've fallen in line. I think everybody else has caught up.
Yeah, yeah. Was it hard growing up being in front of the camera all the time?
No. I mean, for me, that was easy because I was so accustomed to that world. And the difference is, I think it's harder for people who dream of being an actor, see the red carpet, maybe go to school at high school or junior school, and they do a play, and they go, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I really love this experience, this emotion. This is what I want to do with my life. And then they try to get into it knowing nothing, and knowing nothing about the business, and knowing nothing about the craft. And I don't say that to sound holier than thou, but simple stuff like, do you know how to do blocking, downstage, upstage?
Right.
Do you know what your timing is when you come to a set? Do you know when is it a four camera set? Is it a single camera? Is it a single camera shot? Is it double? Is it over? Are you bananing out? You're rolling back in. What's the stage going to be like? How are you interacting with all these little things that I grew up doing?
Uh-huh.
So, and being around and watching people on set not be scary, not be like something out of a movie. They were just people doing their job.
Yeah.
So none of that was intimidating to me. So for me, being on film sets and on commercial sets was more real than being in school.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because in school, it was a lie. School was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
When you go on a film set, or a TV show, you're doing your job. Everybody is there to do their job. I was not there to be on the red carpet and have smoke blown up my ass. I was there to do that job. And at a certain point, my job would be the focus of what we're all working on. And then we move on, and then it would be something else. But everybody talked to each other with a sense of responsibility and respect. Mm-hmm. In school, I found it bizarre because here are people my own age acting as if the world owed them something, and that as if they were stupid, which they're not. They're just not educated on how things work.
Right.
And then adults pretending that they have some great, powerful knowledge that only those of the chosen few are granted to gain access. And it's bullshit. And so there's this facade going on. There's this charade going on.
Yeah.
In school, I found it more performance in school than I did on the job set.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that actually makes sense. Just because, and what you're saying is, I feel like that is still, it doesn't matter what year you grew up. Even I experience that on a daily level with certain individuals. It's just amazing.
And I think I got lucky because when I was acting, my mom's not a set mom in the sense of, you're going to be famous, honey. It's going to be all about you. You're gorgeous. It was, do what you're told, do your job, be your best, and then go home. And you're here to work and be a professional and not get in the way, and then leave. Mm-hmm. And I think like when you're exposed to that as a young man, as a young boy, you're treated with a certain amount of respect, and you're treated like a peer as long as you act like one. Mm-hmm. If you act like an indulgent child, you're put off to the side. If you act like a peer, you're treated like a peer. And then to go from that environment into high school where, our vice principal was Vice Principal Payne. That was his name.
Okay.
He was an idiot.
Okay, yeah.
And it just, these people who were, it seemed like this big song and dance number that was a lie. And a lot of, you remember high school, a lot of what you did in high school never came to mean anything outside of high school. And economist Martin Friedman has spoken about how the reality about our education system is that we're extending it in order to keep young people out of the workplace, because we can't take the competition because people are living longer. So their children are longer and longer and longer in school when they could be in the workplace, just because we can't afford to have them be competing with adults and taking money away from higher earning individuals.
Okay,
but that means that they sit around learning crap that doesn't matter from people who can't make a real living in the rest of the world. Now, there are some great teachers out there, and I had some, and I was honored to be their students. And then there were people who just were wasting tenure and sitting back on their laurels and living inside a high school social system, which is absolute BS.
Right, yeah.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a rant. I've just never been asked that question. And so for me, the business was much easier than high school was. And people to me in high school, in the business, were very nice, friendly. People in high school were dicks.
Right. And it's all about, because, you hear that story of how child actors kind of spin out of control, and now they're
But
wrecks to this day.
I think that's also got more to do with the perception.
Hmm.
So, I'm in Canada. I'm doing commercials, guest starring on TV shows. I'm not a big deal.
Hmm.
When Christmas Story came out, nobody cared. Like seriously, nobody cared. So it's fantastic now, but it's not as if I went to school and, oh my God, Zach, you're in a movie. Oh, I like you so much. Can I be your girlfriend?
Right.
No, I want to be his girlfriend. No, he's mine. No, it's not how life happens, bro. So, and I think I benefited from that, and also like nobody gave a crap about my commercials or TV shows in high school. It actually worked out as a negative for me because if somebody saw it, they might kick me in the back or punch me or be like, "Oh, you think you're better than other people? Whatever, man. Whatever, you dick." I don't
But
know if
Jello sucks, man.
yeah, Joe. But when you're 10, nobody cares, you know.
Yeah.
But when you're in high school, like I was Doritos guy for a year. Like I had the big campaign,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "Oh, whatever, Doritos, man. We'll beat your ass after school." Queer. That was the thing. Remember back in the 80s, everything's queer and
Right,
fag.
right, yeah.
It's like, could you be more homophobic for no reason whatsoever? It was just stupid. So yeah, I mean, we had something in Canada called turtling, which is a hockey thing
Hmm.
where someone reaches behind you and grabs your sweater and pulls it over your head,
Oh, yes,
and
yes, yes, yes.
then punches you in the face.
Yeah.
So that happened, but and I remember being at a dance one time, and it's exciting. You're at a dance, you're dancing, and some girl's like, I heard you think you're kind of a big deal." It's like, I don't know about that, but thank you. I mean, what do you say to that?
Yeah.
Because it's nothing that you did.
Right.
It's just how people interact with you. High school was stupid. I think it benefited me that nobody cared, and I just had to do my job. And the other side thing is, my family did not have any money.
Hmm.
My money went towards paying luxuries like food and rent
Yeah.
and heat and jackets during the winter.
Yeah.
You know that.
All those big luxuries.
Oh yeah. It was a Rolls Royce of macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Um, so that was what money was for. It wasn't for. There are three of us living in a two-bedroom apartment.
Mhm.
That was in my heyday in high
Yeah.
school. So it wasn't as if I was living an entitled existence. So my attitude about everything was focused, and I think because of that, I never really got I never got that stereotypical child actor smoke blown up their ass to the point where they explode type of
Right.
situation.
And and that's a good thing. Just because I mean, hearing you talk today, it's just you have a lot of character, but it's geared more towards hard work, which is something that I have a lot of respect for.
Oh, thanks. Trust me, I would very much at this point love to be able to stop that, just win the lottery, and then I will have the Rolls Royce of macaroni and cheese.
There
That
we
would be
go.
fantastic.
We're getting Velveeta shells today. No more craft.
Done.
We're moving on up.
Yeah.
So when does your entrepreneurial side kick in for you?
I've done a bunch of stuff over the years when it comes to I've owned restaurants and I've traveled around the world and I've worked in the circus and I've taken a lot of risks in my life to try new and interesting things. And what you're referring to is AllSportsMarket and the Global Sports Financial Exchange. So friends of mine created this,
Hmm.
and it is the first and only stock market of sports teams.
Yeah.
And my buddy, who one of the creators, Ace Underhill, yeah, and that's his real name. It's the goofiest. It's the best goofiest name I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's almost like it's a fake name.
it sounds like it does. It's like it was either Ace Underhill or McLovin.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like they're the same in my book, but you know what, I get it.
Yeah, yeah, or it's like a Hobbit jet pilot.
That you know what,
Right.
that's a book and or movie I'd love to see.
Right. Uh, yeah. Um, so Ace, he's one of those guys who, when he graduated high school, had already finished 2 years of college
Hmm.
because he's one of those super brains, and he was Microsoft partner level programmer before he was 20. And so he's one of the best coders in the world. And he and his partner, his business partner, Chris Rabelais, created this concept, sports stock market.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that the only way money in sports has interacted for the last 10, 20,000 years is gambling.
Right.
And the problem with gambling is somebody always has to lose. And usually the other problem with gambling is that it has a collateral fallout that's radioactive. And that's why there's Gamblers Anonymous. That's why families get broken. That's why like people embezzle. That's why people lose their houses. And I'm not going off on a moral tangent, although there is a moral quotient to this. But science.
Yeah.
Science. When you drink coffee, you fire off your brain. When you have sex or you look at sexual images, it fires off your brain.
Right.
You eat sugar, it fires off your brain. You take cocaine or cigarettes or ecstasy, or it fires off in your brain. It hits your brain chemistry. And it makes you feel certain things, whether it's through endorphins or dopamine or serotonin. And gambling is designed to do this exact same thing. As a matter of fact, Uber came out recently, about 2 years ago, talking about how they had gamified their app to ensure that people were more involved.
Mm-hmm.
And they explained how game theory, as described by Vegas, had helped them design what is the most sticky with the human brain. So if you are in Vegas and you go to a slot machine and you pull the slot handle down and you need 5 cherries, and it goes cherry, 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 banana, right?
Yeah.
And then the machine goes, you're like, oh my God, I got so close.
Yeah.
I got so close, right? Did you get close? Yeah. Cherry, 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 banana. Did you get close?
Yeah, no.
No.
There
is no close in math.
Yeah.
And it's a lie. So 1 is not close to 2. You might as well say 1 and a zillion.
Right.
It doesn't matter. There is no close in mathematics. It's irrelevant. But we're not that smart. The way our brains work, we see patterns, and when they can pull the triggers in our brain, it makes us feel certain things. Oh, I was almost there. One more time.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what gambling does. And some people's brains can handle it, and a lot of people's can't. And the vast majority can't, which is why the house always wins, which is why there's a Vegas. That's why there's a Caesar's Palace, and there's not a Chris's Palace or a Zack's Palace.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it's true.
Yeah.
So there's never been a way to interact sports and money before without it being gambling, which takes advantage of the way your brain works and to your detriment. But there had to be a way. And so Chris and Ace came up with it and created a stock market of sports teams.
Mm-hmm.
So you buy shares in your favorite team, and as they win a game, they're paid out dividends. And as they do better and perform better, their value increases, and you can hold on to the shares forever if you like, or you could sell them, or you could trade them. For example, the Philadelphia Eagles last year started around $4. By the time they won the Super Bowl, they were about $15, and they had won a whole bunch of games between the beginning and the end. And each one of those times that they won, they were paid out dividends from the opposing team's losses. Right. So this is an alternative to gambling. It still allows people to enjoy the cerebral satisfaction of combining their knowledge of the sport that they love with the mathematics, and they still get those bells and whistles popping off in their brain. At the same time, it doesn't take their house.
Right.
And no one's going to be making $1 zillion in a day. But, that's the whole fallacy of the lottery, of gambling, is that you'll be the lucky one who'll get rich quick, no matter what.
And it's because this concept is so interesting to me, just because, the past couple of years, there's been this, there are companies that will, you can choose which team and only bet per game, and it's gambling, but it's not gambling. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And there's been a lot of drama in that market. But this, I've always believed in numbers. I've always believed in science. And this idea that you guys came up with is just so intriguing to me. I'd love to own some stock in the Browns.
See, the great thing is you can do it for free.
Yeah.
Well, because the way it's set up is you go to AllSportsMarket.com and you sign on and you get $2,500 in learning capital, basically monopoly money for you to play on the learning market. Now, you can make, sell, share, trade, short the shares for whatever team you like. That is listed. We've got baseball, football, basketball, and hockey all listed there. And you can learn everything about it. Once you feel confident, if you want to, you can go over and move to the pilot market, which operates for real currency up to $2,500 per year for investment. Or you don't stay on the learning market. And I ask people who are gamblers, I'm like, take the Pepsi challenge, man. Put your money down on your team, make your silly little bet.
Yeah.
And when you lose everything, invest it in. If you put down $1,000 in your favorite team and you gambling, if you're betting that, well, to turn around and buy $1,000 worth of shares in learning currency on the market. And then depending upon who wins or loses, just sit there and watch it grow. See what happens. Yeah. It doesn't cost you anything. You're going to be able to make a side-by-side comparison. You'll do the Pepsi challenge and you'll find out if you like it. You'll find out if it's an alternative to losing all your cash. Because wouldn't that be fun? And the thing that's really exciting is that, unlike gambling, which is a negative creation,
right?
Like, it takes money out of your pocket, puts into somebody else's, typically illegally, and then doesn't pay any taxes on it. And the person who has enough money to be the house gets richer and leaves. So it's not helping in any way, shape, or form. This, if you make a bunch of money and when you cash out or you sell your shares, you sell your shares. So say you have 100 shares in the Browns, like you said, 1,000 shares, and they go up to being worth $100 a piece, and you then turn around and sell them in the market. They're bought. You walk away with $10,000. You're paying tax on that money.
Yeah,
like you should.
Yeah,
because you live in a country that gives you roads and schools. And I'm not a socialist, but I believe in responsible capitalism.
Right.
And so, because you have a police officer who saves you from being shot, or you have an ambulance or a fireman that shows up. So, yeah, when you take your money out of that, you pay taxes on any of your profits, like a normal human being.
Yeah.
As opposed to gambling. And you also didn't lose your ass.
I mean, that all makes sense to me. But was it hard getting the national teams on board?
No.
Sports? No, not at all.
The way it operates right now is as a 501c3. We follow the same business model as the New York Stock Exchange. When the New York Stock Exchange was launched in 1817 here in the United States, it was underneath a nonprofit. And the reason it did that is it had to do a beta test, but they didn't have a term like that back then, but they had to do a beta test of their market to make sure that everything worked, and then they had to build the legislature and the rules and regulations around it.
Right.
So as we operate as a 501c3, we have the ability to use the logos of the teams because it's a nonprofit. And what we're doing, we've done this for like the last 4 years. We've been running the learning in the pilot market. And what we're doing right now is we're in talks with the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, for becoming a fully regulated market. Now, at that point, we have to be in talks with the leagues in order to make this fully legal with them. But the thing is, when a team IPOs, so right now the Golden State Warriors are trading for like $85 a share. And all this information from the beta from the last 4 years is going to help establish what the IPOs for each team are going to be. When a team IPOs, that team receives 90% of the purchase price of the stock.
Okay. Yeah.
So if a share is going for $50, they're making 90% of that.
Oh, okay.
And then they're making a percentage of every share from their team that's bought, sold, or traded in perpetuity. So just keep doing what you're doing. If we're in talks with some of the NFL right now, and other people that we can't get into at the moment, but we're also in talks with the SEC. We're going through that whole regulatory process. Our entire thing is transparency. We had a lot of our patents. We have 170 patents in 142 countries, and our key technology was signed off on by Sharon Brown, the ex-chair of the CFTC, Commodities Futures Trading Commission. And so we're dealing with that woman. Actually was part of the transition team for Trump's cabinet. Mm-hmm. And regardless of your politics, you understand what level she stands in Washington in making policy. So we're not circumventing rules and regulations. We're moving into them head on, mm-hmm. in order to make sure that this can be something that can go nation and then global wide. And at that point, it's, sports teams, the leagues, the clubs, just keep doing what you're doing, and we're going to back up a giant pile of money for you that actually pays taxes in the states that you live in and contributes to families rejoining as the team together. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a lot that people want there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's, it sounds all nice and legit and actually can, like you said, benefit not only, the individual, but the people around them, the community, basically, which is a good thing.
No, well, we also think that another part of it is financial literacy. Were you good at math as a kid?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay. I've talked to a lot of people who had that problem, and some of them told me stories about how their parents would help them understand math through sports.
Okay, yeah.
Sports statistics.
Yeah.
And so now, it's very difficult to turn around and talk to a 10-year-old about market fluctuations and long-term investments, but you can talk to them about their favorite team.
Yeah.
That they watch with dad and mom and grandpa and grandma, and maybe they go to a game and maybe they've got a jersey, right? Yeah. And so then you buy them shares in their favorite team on the learning market, and then they get to watch this with their family as they watch the game on TV, and they see how it goes up and down, and they learned about the investment over the period of a season without even knowing that they're learning. So then they start thinking like long-term investors in their own lives.
Yeah.
Instead of people who are hoping for a quick buck.
Oh, yeah. And basically teaching them a sense of value and also appreciation towards the dollar, which is always nice.
Right. And, compound interest is one of the strongest forces in the universe. Mm-hmm. So why not let them reap the joy and benefits of that from an early age so that they can understand it?
Yeah, yeah. Almost like you want to prepare them for life.
Yeah.
Which that's a weird concept. Not really. I'm just kidding. For the people at home who would like to follow you, also take the Pepsi challenge for themselves, where can they do all that?
I'm at Total on Twitter. It's Total Zack Ward, TOTAL ZACKWARD. Facebook, it's my name, Zack Ward, ZACKWARD. And there's also AllSportsMarket. AllSportsMarket.com, and it has all our Twitter and Instagram links right there.
Nice. Zack, it's been a great chat. I think you're onto something great here, and I love what you're doing, and I absolutely will be trying it out for sure.
Yeah, let me know what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. But anytime you want to come back and be a guest, you just say the word, all right?
I shall. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll let you go back to doing good things and eating Jell-O and mac and cheese, I guess.
There you go. That sounds gross.
Well, not together.
Okay. Not together.
But you have a good one, all right, Zack?
You too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.